the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
We'll get you out of here on this, Ben. The quarterback conversation going into 2026 for Tennessee.
High and end to end this.
It's interesting because I think I was talking to Kaner last week about this a little bit, and I think he really wants the transfer portal quarterback. Like, you just can't go into next year with a freshman or a redshirt freshman. And part of what has me a little bit more nervous about it is just that Faizon got hurt early on this year and just came back this past week. So he missed basically his entire senior season. So that's a lot of snaps that he did not take for Grimsley. And at least he will get some playoff snaps because Grimsley is a very good program. So they'll be playing deep into this month. So he'll play some big time competition over the next couple of weeks. But George obviously did not get a lot of run this fall either. So I understand the uncertainty around that, but there's just a big part of me, Ben, that's like, you just got to it's just, I don't know what the total will net. Like, that's the annoying part about college versus pros, is like, we just don't know the total money allotment. So we can't see like how the roster money allocation is really going to go this offseason. But part of me is like, I just don't think that's good money management to invest heavy in a big time 1 year portal quarterback, along with what it's going to cost to have Faizon and George on this roster when you have other more concerning areas. Like, you've got to spend at safety. Like, you might have to spend at star now because you're going to lose McMurray and Boo's now gone. So you're going to have to spend in some key areas. I think you need a veteran linebacker. I think you're going to have to get, Caleb Herring. Like, are you sure about Caleb Herring in 2026? I mean, Jordan Ross, I'm still a Jordan Ross guy, but he still has not gotten, he's banged up down the stretch here. Christian Gass, you haven't seen it all this year. Are you sure without Joshua Joseph around next year that you can just run it back with these Leos? Like, I like all the Leos, but do you need to spend some there? You're going to have to spend at a couple spots on defensive line. So for me, I'm like, the schedule is going to be tougher than what it was this past year. I think 8-4 should be what you shoot for next year with a portal quarterback. Without one, I think you just kind of need to try it. If you're going to go down the 5-star rabbit hole and you're going to take these big financial swings on these guys, I lean that I would put it's the NFL model in a way where you draft the rookie quarterback, but then you spend a bunch of money around them to give them the best chance to succeed. That's what I would do. I understand the Nico part of it, and a lot of folks are just a little uncomfortable, but I'm like, yeah, for every Nico, there are success stories of playing the young quarterback, the true freshman, the redshirt freshman. Like, DJ was 6-1 as a starter last year as a true freshman at Florida. Like, yeah, it hasn't really gone the way anyone wanted this past year. Julian Sayin is a redshirt freshman quarterback at Ohio State. JJ McCarthy was just fine as a young player. There's all kinds of success stories of it going the other way too. So I guess that's one of the things for folks to remember. Caleb Williams at Oklahoma, he took that job from Spencer Rattler in the middle of his freshman season with Lincoln Riley. So like I said, there's just a lot of blue chip success stories playing young, as opposed to just it just doesn't work out. That's what I would do. But I don't think that's where most fans go. Where do you lean, Ben McKee?
My gut tells me they need to go get a quarterback.
Okay.
I agree with all that logic. I really do. But I just the one thing I disagree with what you said is shoot for 8-4 next year. And it's not that I don't think that they have an 8-4 roster, because I kind of, you look at next season right now, it's November 17th. A lot's going to change between now and when the roster is set. But like, is it a playoff roster right now? Absolutely not. And that's not going to be good enough in year 6. And so I don't know that should be the goal. And I'm not necessarily saying like they should set. I don't think that you're saying that they should settle for that to be the standard for next season either. There are a lot of holes on this roster, which is, I think, what you were mostly getting at. And I do think that they're going to spend more money than ever. I think they're going to be very aggressive on the defensive side of the football. I think guys are getting replaced in the secondary because it's needed. There's no doubt about that. Anybody with any common sense can see that. And it would be frustrating that you have to spend so much money on the quarterback position, but you just can't go into a pivotal year 6. And I'm not saying he's on the hot seat, but you still got to find a way to win. in year 6. That's when your seat will start to get hot if you don't. And like, I'm a big believer in George MacIntyre. I'm a big believer in Faizon Brandon, but I think it's a huge risk to go into next season just letting those guys kind of have the keys to the car just because they're making a lot of money. Only Josh Heupel can answer this question, but how ready do you feel George MacIntyre is? If you're confident he's ready, then okay, roll with it. Just like you were this year with Braylon Staley and Mike Matthews. If you have to sit and think about it, if it makes you nervous to think about it, then I think you got to go spend more money at the position and get a proven starting caliber quarterback that can contend in the SEC and just kind of roll with the consequences, whether it be financially or what it does to Faizon and George and their outlook. So like, I agree with all the logic behind what you're saying, but my gut tells me that they need to go add a quarterback that can truly compete for the starting job.
I wonder if they circle back on Hoover. He's got one more year of eligibility, and it has not gone well. I think TCU's 6-4 as of right now.
It hasn't been good for him this year.
That would what?
It hasn't been very good for him this year, or the team at least.
That I wonder if they circle back there. Like that could be like the nice like 1 year marriage where it's like, we'll get you here, we'll get you, we'll put you in a system where you're going to put up great numbers, and we'll get you reacclimated to being a high potential NFL draft pick in the first couple rounds. Hoover would not surprise me if they ended up circling back there. He's 23 TDs, 10 picks, 2,800 yards, kind of undersized, 6'2", 200. But I kind of wonder if he would go to the draft and be one of those late round picks, or do one more potential payday at Tennessee or something. But I don't know. I'm also I'll just tell you, I'm a Faizon believer. Like, I do think Faizon is going to be, he's just so mobile and so comfortable with his legs, Ben, that like, I think those are the guys who I just think have the best chance of making it work as true freshmen, who are naturally comfortable when they're still learning progressions, they're still learning to get comfortable in the pocket. They're still learning just comfortable when the bullets are flying. Like, I think that there's a reason that the Caleb Williams of the world worked as a true freshman. Or if you watch the Cal kid, the lefty southpaw, he just he's fun. Like, he's electric. There's some really high highs and there's some really low lows, but I think that's what you would get with Faizon. Like, a part of me really does believe that Faizon would be the most comfortable figuring stuff out on the fly and making something out of nothing when he's struggling to get through his reads and that defenses are confusing him. That like, he is so good with his feet that I still think he'd find ways to have positive plays, even as he's getting used to being quarterback one. I would go with Faizon. I would just try it as a true freshman and see what happens. Like, and my gut is I think Faizon's going to be quarterback one going into next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big conversation to be had. I don't disagree with your thoughts on Faizon. I'm a big Faizon guy as well. I just think it's really risky to go into a season with a true freshman quarterback, whether he's a 5-star and you're paying him a bunch of money. There's just no guarantee that he's going to be ready for that moment. I think we're seeing older quarterbacks have more success in college football far more often than younger quarterbacks for a reason. And maybe Faizon makes me look silly. I'm certainly not ruling it out. I just know that I would prefer, if I was head coach, to go into the season with something I feel more sure about. Because again, you have to win next season. I'm not saying go win a national championship or an SEC championship, but 8-4 with Faizon is not going to be good enough. It's not.
Do you really not think so? Like, even if
No.
Faizon, what if Faizon looks like the guy? And you've got a 3-year window with Faizon. Like, if Faizon, even if like 8-4, but it's a fun 8-4, where Faizon shows flashes where it's like, oh, we got him. Like, he's going to be really fun for the next 3 years.
Is there such thing as a fun 8-4?
I think there's fun. I don't think defensively, if you're a defense first team, I don't think 8-4 is ever fun. But I think 8-4, if you have a top 20, top 15 scoring offense, I think it can be fun. Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I just, in year 6, like 8-4 is not going to fly, especially when, at least
they
I don't
might
think
have to, because I don't see it. Like, this schedule's tough, man.
Folks aren't going to fire him
Yeah.
if they go 8-4. Again, I'm not insinuating that, like I said earlier, but like it'll get loud, and the seat will
Mhm.
absolutely start to get warm if you're going 8-4 in year 6, and because you're probably also going 8-4 because you haven't fixed the defense. Whereas clock management, game management, those type of conversations, like 8-4 is your defense isn't good enough to roll with a freshman quarterback right now and go 10-2 and potentially make the playoffs. And that's the standard, and expectation is to make the playoffs and truly compete for a national championship and win playoff games, not go 8-4 in year 6 with a fun freshman quarterback that builds hope for the future. I just, again, folks aren't, some will because some are crazy. I wouldn't be saying like Heupel needs to get fired at 8-4, not at all. But like, I also don't think that that's going to fly whatsoever. I mean, they may go 9-3 this season, and that's not going to fly with how they lost to Georgia, how they lost to Alabama and Oklahoma with the same old mistakes of being undisciplined and shooting themselves in the foot, and the defense taking a step back. So I can't wait to watch Faizon Brandon play football at Tennessee. It's going to be a lot of fun. And maybe he proves me wrong and comes in here and lights it up. I think in this particular conversation, we're also forgetting that George has the potential to do that as well. We'll see if he does it. But he generated buzz in fall camp for a reason. He's athletic enough and has an arm to where he can potentially make things happen as a redshirt freshman next year as well. I just think it's really, really risky when I think we're seeing a lot of college football success be dictated by veteran quarterbacks nowadays.
We'll end on this. I think what you could do to solve all of this is when you go into Neyland Stadium next year, whether it's George, if you go with the George or Faizon model, like every fan signs like a document. You know how Apple has that thing that no one reads, the terms and conditions? Everyone signs, hey, we're going with Faizon and George. You have to give us at least 2 seasons to see this through with a young quarterback. No complaining, everything else, like 2 years. We're going with this model. That's what we're doing. Don't look at wins and losses. We're going young, and young quarterbacks don't win traditionally in this sport. So, hey, enjoy it, and we'll see what happens. Enjoy the ride, but it's going to be Faizon or George for the next couple of years, and we're going to try it. And if it doesn't work, we'll go back to the transfer quarterback stuff, but let us try this. So bear with us.
I look, all I'm saying is if you go with Faizon or George, I'm not saying it's the wrong decision. You just better make sure you have shored up the defense this offseason. You better make sure that the defense, all those questions you mentioned, which I agreed with all of them earlier, you better find some answers for those questions, because if you roll with George or Faizon, that defense is gonna have to be the 2024 model of how Nico made the playoffs. Tennessee didn't make the playoffs because of Nico. Tennessee made the playoffs because of its defense, and that will have to be the winning formula, winning recipe once again. If you do decide to roll with Faizon or George. And honestly, if you brought in another quarterback, you're going to have to make sure the defense takes a big step forward. So to me, it's a fascinating conversation. I'm more of a cautious person. So give me the sure thing over maybe gambling a little bit, which is why I think I fall where I do on this conversation. But both are very capable. I wouldn't be surprised if either find success. I'd be nervous if I was Josh Heupel.
That's what the $220,000 a week is for, right?
Yep, that's right.
For this kind of work, man. It's just tough.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas Podcast. Hell yeah.